to Rock Vegas, everybody. Glen Rockney here. Day 2 of the draft, night 2, I should say. Man, they got to speed this shit up, man. I'm trying to record these podcasts at like 10:30 and shit. I'm old man. Can't stay up that late anymore. So I hope everybody's as happy as I am, especially with how critical I was yesterday. I'm very happy with day 2 of the draft. 3 players taken today, had 3 picks. Did turn the last pick into another 2 picks, it looked like. I think we traded 2 picks for 3 picks with the Patriots. I think we have 2 fourth-round picks tomorrow and a 5th, and then we're done after that. So I do anticipate them trying to get some more picks out of those 2 fourths, maybe like a 6th or a 7th, try to fill out special teams. I get it. So let's cut right to it. A lot of waiting through that second round. It was brutal, but I was getting like slightly more and more encouraged as the second round went on. Like at first it was like, fuck, Pittman, damn. Oh man. Like, and then I started seeing all these running backs go. I go, yeah, take the running backs, man. I don't care. We got Josh Jacobs. Like we'll get another guy later. Or undrafted free agent, man. We drafted 1 running back in the first. I'm not taking another one in the second or third the next year. So finally gets to pick 80, and man, I was already a few beers deep in, a few pulls of the sour diesel pen, and at 80, I was like, man, let's just bet on some athleticism here. Let's get faster as a team. Like it's okay nowadays. Speed is better than it ever was, and it's weird that once speed became like almost the best thing and most coveted thing in football and athleticism, that was when the Raiders started going away from that. Doesn't that seem kind of weird? Like once the Reggie McKenzie era took over, it was like, no, we want big thumper guys who read scripture every night before bed and eat milk and cookies and tuck themselves in and wake up in the morning and clean the house and then basically get destroyed by offensive tackles all the game because they're not actually good football players. So it's like nowadays, let's get speed, man. Al Davis was ahead of his time. So that's exactly what the Raiders did today. That's what's really good. They got faster. With every pick, they got faster. Lynn Bowden Jr., offensive weapon. Doesn't have a position. Offensive weapon. The Raiders are saying that he's going to play running back, which that's cool. I mean, I guess that's our running back, our RB2, right? Because Richard's going to be your check down guy, your third down guy. Takar, he's the first down, second down, and third down guy. But I'm joking. Fuck. I hope these car stands leave me alone. But Lynn Bowden's going to be the running back too, I guess. A little bit weird as far as a compliment to Jacobs. He's definitely not anywhere near the same type of runner. Is more physical than he looks. You think he's going to be like almost like a little KJ Hamler type guy where he's wiggling around everywhere. He can do that too, but he finishes his runs. And I don't think it's important to assign him a position, it's weird. I started looking at the draft grades, and God, why do I even do this? Why do I look at the draft grades? Today I was tweeting to people, and it's like, man, stop worrying about these draft analysts. They have a job. They have to give takes beforehand. Guys they like, guys they don't like. And then they're going to die on that hill until this person is either good or really bad. And then the draft guys are going to be like, oh, look, I told you so. And then when their guy does really bad, their guy that they swore was going to be a slam dunk pick in the 4th round ends up being bad, and they'll go, well, I guess he went to the wrong system. You can't blame me. Don't worry about proving them wrong on draft night. It can't happen anyways. They haven't played a snap. You're going to lose to the, blue check, white check if you're in night mode like an alpha male, right? White check mark, because we do night mode over here. We're grown. These, verified analysts, you get in an argument, they're going to have 10 other guys coming on to you like, this guy thought that it wasn't a reach to take him in the 3rd round. Oh, look at this guy. And you're going to look stupid. So don't need to argue with these guys now. Screenshot it. Screenshot the takes. Screenshot it. They'll say, hey, man, Lynn Bowden, I don't get what the fuck are the Raiders doing. Screenshot it. You know what I mean? Screenshot me. I was shitting on Damon Arnett last night. Screenshot me. I'll love that. People think I'm going to hate it if like Damon Arnett ends up being some great cornerback or something like that. And they'll be like, oh, man, this guy, you must want him to be bad. No, I want him to be great. I love being wrong when I'm down on somebody. I like the Raiders to do well. Imagine that. I like to have good players. Got a little PTSD from the last 20 years of Raider football. So it's tough for me to get super invested. But today, I'm in. I'm in. Lynn Bowden is good. And it is one of those things where these draft guys that I was just making fun of, if Lynn Bowden isn't good, it's kind of on us. It's kind of on the Raiders because he's fast. He can catch the ball. He can move after the catch. We have a quarterback that doesn't really like throwing it down the field. We have a coach that doesn't really like throwing it down the field. So they drafted a bunch of fast guys to throw it to and get yards after the catch. I think that's nice. I think that's a good way to go about it if you're keeping Carr. And if you're not, that's fine. You still have speed guys for your next quarterback. So Lynn Bowden is really interesting because I have these thoughts, right? And they're THC-inspired thoughts. Tonight it was banana tangy. It was a little sour diesel, switched to the banana tangy. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably should have stayed sativa. It's okay. We'll look at the film, get him back next week. It's fine. But I think this would be crazy. One thing Raiders suck at is red zone, defense and offense. Actually, it's funny. Defense were actually a little bit better than in between the 20s, but so I guess it's more offense that sucks. But damn, we suck in the red zone. Carr sucks in the red zone. Gruden's play calling is shit in the red zone, and I think we might have found a wildcat red zone quarterback here. Carr's really good at getting us from the 20 to the other 20. He shrivels up in the red zone, and I think if you had I used to have this thing, and let me go back to the thought I had originally when I was really high the other night when I was watching Josh Jacobs' high school highlights. I was like, why don't we just put this guy at quarterback when we're at like the 5-yard line? And then we draft a guy like Antonio Gibson. At the time, I wanted Antonio Gibson. I still do. I love Antonio Gibson. I wish he was still available. He went to the Redskins. They took him earlier than I thought he would be taken, but I think he's going to be a great player. So I thought Antonio Gibson could have been our running back in that scenario. And then we could have had, our massive stable of tight ends blocking on the line, go super big on the O-line, and have like a great direct snap to Josh Jacobs. If you haven't seen Josh Jacobs' high school highlights, he's like running over these. I mean, granted, they're like Oklahoma kids that are going to end up working at Bass Pro Shop, but he was like demolishing them, man. Guy could have gone to jail for some of that shit. It was crazy. And if we had Jacobs as the quarterback, and then at the time I wanted Gibson as the running back, and then, maybe one wide receiver out there, and just keeping a bunch of speed, and then you could just get your power run game into the end zone. I think we might have that with Lynn Bowden now, and you don't have to have Jacobs at quarterback. You just have Jacobs as your running back. So you could have Lynn Bowden take the direct snap. This is like inside the 10, inside the 5. And then you have Henry Ruggs, who when I was having this fantasy of a red zone offense, we didn't even have Ruggs yet. So it's like you have all these guys. You could do all these crazy motion plays too. I hope Gruden utilizes it because he looked like he was pounding the table for it all offseason, and I hope he utilizes it this way. It'd be crazy. So, again, if we don't use Lynn Bowden right, we're doing him a disservice, and if he doesn't work out, it's probably our fault. So, yeah, huge fan of him. One thing, this is on his Wikipedia page. Can't be right. 70 tattoos, Lynn Bowden? That's insane. I don't have any tattoos, so I don't know, if those can be done, multiple at one time. No idea. I mean, does a sleeve count, or is there, individual shit in the sleeve? Maybe he's up in his stats a little bit, but damn, that's insane. But, yeah, he started as a wide receiver at Kentucky. Kick returner there. We don't return kicks in the pros anymore, so what's the point? But they used him in the Wildcat formation there. And he would throw every once in a while, but he can keep the ball. He could do a little pitch play, anything like that. I'm really interested to see what Gruden's plan is, because I don't think it's just running back 2, you're going to spell Josh Jacobs. There's no way. There's no way. I think Gruden's got a special part of the playbook for him. I think he had a special part of the playbook for Ruggs. It's starting to come together. I was a little lukewarm on the Ruggs pick yesterday. To me, it was just of course you pass on Judy. Of course you pass on Lamb, and you take Ruggs, who's a luxury pick, right? I considered him a luxury. I considered him when a team had a really good boundary outside receiver and a really good slot receiver. You take Ruggs, and he stretches the field for you. We were trying to skip the steps and go straight to the deep threat, and I thought that was a mistake. So now it's starting to make a little sense. If you're going to go speed, go full speed. Get everybody, make your team faster. Last year we got, I think, tougher and and football IQ went up a little bit. This year was about speed. Let's get athleticism, right? And coverage. I wanted to get faster and I wanted to be able to cover better. And it looked like they did that. I'm still very, very, very kind of skittish on our corner. It's tough for me to like look at that group of corners and go, yeah, bring it on, Patrick. It's tough. And safety, we'll see. Tanner Muse pick we'll get to later. Maybe they like Tanner Muse at safety or like dime linebacker. I could be talked into that. But with Lynn Bowden, we got a lot faster, a lot more versatile, and I hope Gruden can be creative like Kyle Shanahan. That's just my one concern with that. So these PFF and Bleacher Report want to say his weakness is not having a position. I don't consider that a weakness. Really excited about him. Super excited. He's a tough guy. The Raiders like shit talkers. That's one thing I like about John Gruden is he likes a good shit talker. And no uniform looks better to talk shit into than a Raider uniform. Like when you're talking shit to a Charger player wearing a Raider uniform. Look, those powder blue jerseys are nice. Their new jerseys are nice. They're not tough looking though. I'm sorry. Way to make Derwin James look like he plays high school football. Sick. You know what I mean? The Chargers have a really nice defense, but then you dress them up in powder blue. Doesn't look as nice. I'm not scared. You can talk to me after the play, and I'll just be like, what time's your mom picking you up? Get out of here. Raiders got tougher. They're nastier. I love what John Gruden's building right now as far as character and explosiveness, prioritizing speed. And I do think that's Gruden. I don't think that's Mayock. I think that's Gruden, prioritizing speed. Next pick. This one was great. We didn't have time to celebrate Lynn Bowden very long because we were right on the clock after that. And I was like, what are they going to do here? I really thought they were going to go like swing tackle. I was trying to expect the unexpected. They got the guy that I love. I had a segment on a couple podcasts ago, 10 guys I love for this draft. It was on my rock hard list. Okay. Rockney hard. It's short for Rockney. Okay. Relax. But Bryan Edwards was smooth on that list, right in the middle of that list. I love Bryan Edwards. We didn't have a chance of getting Michael Pittman. And I was like, man, we need to get a big body in here. And not like a big body like T. Higgins that can't separate 4.5. I don't like that. Bryan Edwards can run. He's hurt. He's hurt right now. So we didn't get to see that. If he was at the combine, I don't think we even sniff him in the draft. We miss him. He probably goes that late first, early second. That's what a lot of people are saying. John Ledyard, who is very knowledgeable on the draft, John Ledyard had him as his 23rd overall player. And he was definitely a darling of like all 22 draft guys and stuff. And I see why. He had a terrible quarterback at South Carolina. Terrible. Tyler Helinski, I think was his name. Sucks. And Bryan Edwards was always open. Guy couldn't get the ball to him. And so now Bryan Edwards is with Derek Carr. And I'll be nice. Bryan Edwards is probably coming from a place where he's like, Derek Carr, this is great. Oh my gosh, an average quarterback? Oh, love it. And I think he's gonna have a quarterback that can at least get him the ball, I think, right? I mean, I'm sure they're gonna want him to stretch the field. He's big. He's a contested catch guy. I think puts a little bit of pressure on Tyrell Williams, and it also is a guy that can step in and play the Tyrell Williams role as if he gets injured, which he does a lot. So, I mean, throughout his career. So it's nice to have a big body you could put in there. That's not Marcel Aitman or who the fuck else was our receiver? Keelan Doss, guys like that. Guy I think who's way higher ceiling than any of those guys. So yeah, Bryan Edwards, 6'3", 215. Not a small guy. He can run. I think his first step is better than Henry Ruggs. I think he's more explosive off the line of scrimmage than Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs, after 2 steps, you'll never see him again, though. So that's that's what happens after the first 2 steps. But that first step off the line, I think he's really good against press. He had his way with a lot of the SEC corners out there, and he just, again, South Carolina's passing game, not good. So to me, I'm very high on this pick. And when Michael Thomas was at Ohio State, the Michael Thomas we passed on him for Jihad Ward. That Michael Thomas. when he was at Ohio State, they were like a run offense with JT Barrett. They were like a quarterback keeper, almost like a wishbone type thing going on. They didn't throw the ball that well over there, and so nobody really knew how good Michael Thomas was. I'm not saying Bryan Edwards is Michael Thomas. I'm saying prepare to be like, holy shit, this guy's a lot better than I thought. Like, why did we miss this guy? All these other teams. So far, Edwards is my favorite pick. Bowden's the most intriguing, even more than Ruggs. Ruggs, I'm not as intrigued by, and I mean that in a good way. I think his role is way more defined on the team. Lynn Bowden, I'm like, hey, how crazy can we get with this guy? Edwards, I know exactly what he is. Edwards is a big body receiver, gets separation, good after the catch, great route runner, really light on his feet, good hands. They say his hands were a bit skittish at times, kind of shaky, but he had like hand problems in college. I don't know exactly what the injury was, and when he was having those problems, his drops were up. I mean, yeah, it's not rocket science. That's fair. I mean, get the fucking Mythbusters in here to figure out why, but he caught the ball a lot better once he got healthy. And I think right now he's getting over some kind of thing in his foot, which awesome, just like Tyrell Williams, right? But I don't know if we're going to start the season on time. So take your time, Brian. Take your time. Get healthy. I like betting on guys coming off an injury in the third round. That's when I start doing that. We didn't have a second round pick, so that's when we had to. But like first round, try to take a guy with a clean bill of health. Tua's a bit of a different situation. I understand why Miami did that, but in the third, fourth, fifth rounds, just find athletic guys, man. If they get hurt, they get hurt. I mean, does anyone fault the Niners for picking Marcus Lattimore? No, they're just like, hey, they tried, didn't happen. Poor guy just tore his knee up like confetti. I mean, it is what it is, but they tried, because had that worked out, you would have had Marcus Lattimore. If you didn't watch Marcus Lattimore in college, that was one of the best running backs I've ever seen. It was insane. And speaking of South Carolina, I really have high hopes for Bryan Edwards. Let's get to the final pick of day 2 for the Raiders. And his name's Tanner. Are you sitting down? His name's Tanner. We drafted a guy named Tanner. I haven't confirmed if he's Mormon. I thought there was a 78% chance that any white man named Tanner would be Mormon. I got to check with my analytics guys, but I would think that'd be the case. But holy shit, man. Did Gruden show up at Mayock's house like disguised as the DoorDash guy and go like, hey, we got to take a grinder. Let's take a grinder, Mike. Okay? Mike's like, fuck, dude. Throws down his draft board, erases the whole thing. He's like, which one, John? Which one? Come on, dude. Which one? He's like, we're going to take Muse. We're going to take Tanner. Okay, I like Tanner. I like Tanner Muse. We're going to take him. They take Tanner Muse. Tanner Muse looks like the guy who was the last to embrace the black people in Remember the Titans. You know what I mean? Like, remember how like at first nobody likes him. They're like, oh man, what the fuck? I'm a linebacker. How could this guy be more athletic than me and better and cooler and better and all that kind of stuff? And then he, hears a Cool Temptation song, starts singing it word for word out of nowhere halfway through the movie. And then he's like, you know what? You guys aren't half bad. That's who Tanner Muse is. I'm just fucking around. But yeah, Tanner Muse looks like he gels his hair before the football game. He just takes a big thing of pomade and fucking all in his hair, puts his helmet on, smashes it in there, and gets ready. His mom makes him do it still. He seems like that kind of guy, and he's a Clemson guy. So maybe Mayock could be convinced a little better to draft one of Gruden's little grinders. You know what I mean? Gruden would be rock hard shooting ropes in the Monday Night Football. Watching, Monday Night Football booth with Mike Tirico going, hey, John, can we take that somewhere else? Watching Tanner Muse play dime linebacker and stuff. So I really think that I gotta be real with you guys. I didn't watch Tanner Muse. The only thing I ever saw Tanner Muse do was get shaken. Like he fell into like the training facility when he got juked by Jordan Jefferson. He like went into the tunnel, like fell down the stairs going into the tunnel, and then landed on like the training table. And the trainer's like, hey, are you hurt? And he's like, I don't know where I am. He got shaken out of his fucking shoes in that game. And that's kind of like one of those things where it was like kind of why I didn't like AJ Terrell, where I was like, dude, he got torched. So maybe that's just my brain. But Tanner Muse's measurables are pretty good. As far as that goes, I think he's about 6'2", 230-ish. I think they're going to want him to bulk up maybe a little bit. He's like 227, but ran really well. It's pretty fast. I do sense just in just a little thing I've been watching this last hour or so, he doesn't look like he has the best like lateral quick or you know what I mean, lateral quickness, change of direction kind of stuff. He loses a lot of speed when he has to kind of break down his steps and run. So that could be a problem. I don't want to see him on the field for any down in which there's like an I formation where, you know, obvious running down for a team. He shouldn't be anywhere near the field. But I'm wondering if this is who they think is covering Travis Kelce. Because, I mean, who else is it? Like, I don't know if it's Littleton, you know. I don't know if that's what we do in our scheme. I don't think that's who it's going to be. I think they're going to take the flats in the backfield, you know what I mean? Stuff that goes right around the line of scrimmage, you know, make a quick tackle. And I think maybe Muse is supposed to be the guy that's going to, you know, be the tight end eraser. And if that's what he ends up doing, it's worth every bit of this third round pick. And they traded back, got an extra fourth out of it, which is really nice to get it. It was obvious that's who they wanted. My only problem is Terrell Burgess was still there. Terrell Burgess being there, I went to 104 to the Rams, and I'm wondering if that's going to be one of those ones that we look back on going, oh man, we should have taken him. Like, I thought he was going to be like a Seahawk, Terrell Burgess. He looked like a Seahawk to me. And one of those guys that just like fits in that system perfectly. And I was like, man, I really, really like Terrell Burgess. So Tanner Muse to me I actually made a joke. I was like, hey, you guys ready for Tanner Muse at 80? And like, you know, this is a joke. And some people were like, yeah, man, do it. I'm like, oh, fuck, geez, get away from the draft board if you're anywhere near it. But they took him at 100, whatever. You know, I can't say it's a bad pick because, again, I didn't really watch him. I haven't even watched like full games of him yet. I was so busy watching other guys on Clemson, I didn't really even pay attention to him. So, you know, if he ends up being a good coverage guy, I'm always down to bet on coverage linebackers. There's definitely some more available too, so that's something to keep an eye out for. But he's kind of a tweener, like a dime linebacker safety. So I don't know what their plan is for him. I'll have to look at what Mayock says tonight or something like that. But hey, if he's going to cover, I got a spot for him. They say he's like an insane special teams guy too, so there's value. I mean, he's gonna at least get a chance to prove himself. He'll probably be one of those guys that stays around the league no matter how good he is. I mean, I'll let you figure out why. But the still a lot of really good players available. I'm really excited about what's left on the board. I'm going to look at John Ledyard. I referenced him earlier. We have Kayvon Wallace. Huge fan of Kayvon Wallace. He's a nickel. Really, really good. They might be a safety, but I think he's going to end up being like a slot corner. I do really want to draft another slot corner. I know Arnett might end up being our slot corner, which hopefully not. I hope he's a boundary guy, but I do want to get like a slot corner. I think that's going to be the best value later, especially because there's some good ones left. Akeem Davis-Gaither is also available, linebacker coverage guy. Tyler Johnson is available, and I knew he had the potential to slide. So Tyler Johnson, there's definitely like some character work ethic concerns with him, and that's probably what's showing up because his like actual film is really good. So I think he was at least warranted of like a second, third round pick, but he's still there. I don't know if they're going to take another wide receiver. I say you never have too many. Keep getting them, right? You still got guys. You still got to find get 8 men out of here. You don't have to keep Aguilar. Side note, Aguilar's going to have to catch the fucking ball this year because he's not going to be like, well, I'm fast. I get to stay, right? Nope. Sorry. We got speed now, pal. I don't want our firemen to start talking shit about you when they're saving babies. Fuck that. Clark County firemen blaming you for dropping balls in the end zone. Nope. Sorry. I don't want to deal with that. I'm sure they'll keep Aguilar because, you don't want to get rid of speed unless you have to. But nonetheless, Tyler Johnson still available. It's really shocking to me. Guard Ben Bredesen. I don't honestly know who that is. But Amik Robertson is, God, if we could just get him tomorrow with one of those picks, get him at the nickel, we would have our Patrick Beverly on defense. That's who he is. He's Patrick Beverly to me. That's his pro comp is an NBA guy. But He's like a perimeter defender, just a junkyard dog, physical at the line, small, but doesn't matter. It's the nickel, man. You just got to stay side by side with the guys. I really like him. That's honestly might be my number one guy that I want tomorrow. Bryce Hall still available. Really, it's not shocking. He's just had a lot of injuries, and I think he's still currently rehabbing one. But again, we don't know when the season's going to start. Take him. See what happens. It's okay if it doesn't work out. You bet on the upside. It's not a big deal. So it's like, man, Bryce Hall, Kayvon Wallace, Amik Robertson. I mean, the value's there. I can't see better picks. Troy Pride I also really like a lot from my Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Troy Dye is available. Geno Stone's another guy. PFF loves him. I haven't had a chance to watch him play, but I keep hearing they're saying, like, man, he's one of those guys where he's so fun to watch, but you're not sure if he's good. So, again, take him late. Take him 6th round. Maybe he's a special team guy. So, it's a lot of good players left on the board. But today was a nice bounce back day. I think today validated day one, offensively at least. I still have my reservations about Arnett. Those aren't going to go away till we play. You can show me all the film you want. That's fine. I still think that if it was your guy, you could have hopped back a few spots and got another pick. A free pick, right? It's a free pick. I don't think anybody else was going to take him there. Just like Farrell last year, I don't think anyone else was going to take him there. So that's where my problem is. If he's a fit, then he's a fit. And if he's good, then he's good. I just think we could have got an extra pick out of somebody there. So I think the Ruggs and all the speed that we're adding, it makes sense. We're trying to recreate the Chiefs offense, minus the quarterback right now. We're the Alex Smith Chiefs offense. How about that? We're trying to recreate that. We got Waller. Waller's our Kelsey. I'm not saying they're the same, but they play the same, do the same role. Ruggs is your Tyreek, even though I think he's more of a Deshaun Jackson. He plays the role of Tyreek. Tyrell Williams, I guess, is like your DeMarcus Robinson, something like that. But then you got Bryan Edwards, who I don't even think the Chiefs have a guy like that. So we have a better offensive line than them. As of now, we have a better running game than them, I would say. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is pretty good. So I on paper, so we'll see what happens there. We don't have the quarterback they have, like I said, but I think we're trying to build the Alex Smith Chiefs offense. I think we'll all take that as of now as Raider fans. Then we'll complain about it after Carr does some shit we don't like, but we'll complain about that when we get there. But I do like what we're doing on offense, and I'd like to try to get a little younger on the offensive line tomorrow. Maybe some project offensive line guys. Let Cable get one. Fuck it. Let Tom Cable get one. I might regret saying that, but let Tom Cable get a pick tomorrow. He might say take Sadiq Charles, and it'll be like, cool. I don't mind. Let's get Brandon Parker out of here. Find a way to get Brandon Parker out of here. I know he was a 3rd round pick 2 years ago. I don't want him anywhere in this team. He's by far the worst player on the team. So if we could upgrade that position, that'd be great. But again, I'd say keep hammering the secondary. That's what I'd do. And then if maybe the secondary value's not there or your guys aren't there anymore, get some athletes. Worst case scenario, they can play some special teams. Or they don't make the team. It's fine, but get some athletes. Let's get faster. Keep speed kills. Like I said, I said it before, but we abandoned speed once speed became like almost foolproof in the NFL. So let's bring it back. I'm really excited about tomorrow. I'm glad we have 2 fourths. In case you forgot, that's where a guy named Max Crosby, our best pass rusher, got picked. Not 4th overall, 4th round. Let's try it again. Let's find a good pass rusher. Let's get some good defense, get some corners, get something. Really, really looking forward to it. I think it starts earlier tomorrow. I always forget what time the Saturday day 3 starts, but really excited about that. And just be chill. Like I said, give these draft guys a break, man. Don't fucking just because they don't like some of our picks, man. You don't got to win this battle now. Screenshot it and win it later. That's all I got to say. Follow me on Twitter at Glen Rockney. I will have this up on the morning of day 3 of the draft. I might try to throw it up tonight, but we'll see. Thanks for listening, guys. Spread the word. I know I'm not the best Raiders podcaster out there, but I'm definitely got my own takes and got I'm just another voice. If you're like me and you're just a Raiders football fiend, it's always good to have another podcast to listen to. So thanks for listening. This is Rock Vegas, Glen Rockney. I'm out.